What's all the P.M.S with Coach G? It's positively motivating sisters with purpose, meaning, style. Are you ready for positive conversations inspiring you to your next level? Do you need motivation to get you growing? Are you a sister, woman, leader, boss, mom, wife, female, her, she? I think you know what I mean. Are you seeking purpose in your life? Do you know the meaning for which you stand? Do you know your style is your unique authenticator? If you answered yes to any one of these questions, this podcast is designed with you in mind, which embodies the whole you, mentally, emotionally, physically, financially, and spiritually. Sisters, we are on a journey in connecting you from where you are to your what's next with purpose, meaning, style, and it all starts with you. Hi, this is Coach G, your Chief PMS cheerleader, empowering you and motivating you to win in your personal and professional life, your connector, guiding you and bridging the gap from where you are to your what's next. I am your empowerment speaker, leadership and growth coach strategist, mom, wife, Christian, and I get to serve you in what I am passionate about, you. Sisters, we are on a journey for you living your life on purpose, for purpose, with purpose, meaning style. So thank you for supporting the show. As I always start out saying, whether it's your first time listening or you have been on this journey with me since day one, or whatever time it is, whatever it is, it's still I want to say thank you. Thank you for listening, sharing, following, commenting, liking the podcast. And you know what? All of that carries weight. But let me remind you, you can also offer a contribution to the show, which is that monetary contribution, as we continue to consistently show up with special guests to empower other women on their personal and professional growth journey through education, inspiration, and elevation. And you know what that is, positively motivating sisters with purpose, meaning, and style. So, what do? Go to the show description, touch the link, support the show, and that speaks volume in you saying, I stand in support of this podcast and I want to bless this podcast so we can continue to grow through these conversations as we are here in this space. And we are in episode 83, Fit to Soar, Steps to a Happier, Healthier You. And okay, I am not at the table by myself because I have a guest today. And you know what? Her name is LaRonda Bolden. So I always say we get an opportunity to sit here at the table, sharing as sisters when you come on this platform. But let me tell you a little bit about LaRonda before we start. She is an advocate for empowering women to become physically and mentally fit by owning their power, unleashing their inner confidence, and realizing their full potential and worth. As the creator and owner of Fit to Soar, she's on a mission to ignite transformation, not just in the mind, but in the body as well. LaRonda faced a life altering tragedy at just 11 years old when she lost her father to a stroke. This profound loss left her grappling with grief, anger, and insecurity, propelling her on a quest to find meaning and fulfillment. So, in her quest to fill that void in a healthy way, she discovered the power of physical fitness and how important her mindset was to her holistic well being and joy. Her experiences have helped her flow to becoming an inspiration in helping you master your mind body connection. So, you know, we are getting ready to flow in some good conversations. So, welcome, LaRonda, and thank you for being here.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the
Okay.
introduction.
Of course, of course. That we're going to talk about fit to soar. Let's start with that because this is what we're talking about. This is what the topic is about, right? So tell us about fit to soar. Tell us who and what fit to soar represent.
Well, Fit to Soar, it's very much, it goes with the introduction of my history and how it helped me. So it empowers women to find their worth, their power, um, to break free from any limiting beliefs that they may be having, and then incorporating physical fitness in there. So I always say when you feel right, you do right. And if you if your body feels like crap, then most times it's hard to think right and feel just emotionally well. So I incorporate the two. So Fit to Soar is soaring in both levels, so mentally and physically. So merging those two, and so you can reach your highest potential. And I know how my mindset was all over the place from my experience, my history. So, like you said in the introduction, I'm on a mission to help break women free from living, in the past, whether that's good or bad, just so they can reach another level in their life, whatever that means for them. So,
Yes,
in
so
a
thank
nutshell.
you. Thank you. Thank you. Again, that mind-body connection. So when we talk about, let's talk about that, you said when you don't feel right. Well, I'll say it again because I just got so twisted on that, but I know what you said, but why I can't repeat that? Okay, so repeat it for me.
I don't really know if I said it right. When you feel better, I'm going to say it another way. When you feel better, you do better, you think
Okay.
better. So,
Okay,
because,
there we go.
you know,
When you when you feel better, you do better. Okay, see, help me flow. We're talking about that flow, okay? And which we can really say that could be very true. So let's talk about that feeling. So I was perusing on your website, and it was about getting to know you a little better. And you talked about, that best feeling. I want you to elaborate on that because you just said if we feel better, we do better. And so your best feeling, the statement that you state is when I feel the fear and do it anyway. So
yes.
kind of elaborate on that and how that is that part of how we flow, from that feeling.
Well, I would say initially it's on the surface, feeling that uncomfortable feeling, whether it's fear, and pushing yourself to do it anyway. You grow so much, you become empowered. For me, it was when I have these feelings often because I had social anxiety in my 20s. I was diagnosed with it in college before doing a speech, and I got very ill, and I didn't know why. And so I went to the doctor, told her my symptoms. They always come during this time, and it was diagnosed, so I had a name for it. But most things that I do, it is if it's socially related, I'm going to be feeling those feelings. So I continuously have to push myself to do it anyway. But one time in particular, when I was promoted to be a manager, I had those feelings. I had to take medication. I was in bed for 3 days, just for that social anxiety. But I did it. I had a choice between two positions at the time, a safe one where I could do, I'm on the computer, I'm in my own little world, but it was a promotion. And the other one was managing the group of peers that I was, with. So I knew that was going to come with some challenges and it was going to push me. So I chose that one. And, it was really tough to say the least. Um, and I found out I didn't like managing from that position, but that one choice changed everything because now I could see, I did that. I stepped forward, I stepped out and found out. And although the position didn't work, it grew me into something more. I knew if I could do that, it didn't kill me. I mean, probably came close to, I felt it did not kill me, but I learned that I can do it. It gave me confidence. And that feeling on the other side of that was like, I could do that, I could do this. If I can make it through that, that very challenging time, push myself to do it. What else can I do? And the floodgates opened up, and that was when I just like took off, because one, I didn't succumb to those feelings. I pushed through, no matter how much it hurt, to see on the other side. So sometimes it's not about what you're actually doing; it's who you're becoming because of it. And I became a a different person, a confident person, and stepping out there. And even though one time I did it, and I joined the choir because I'm like, hey, there's no fear. I'm going to do it anyway. And found out I couldn't sing worth a dime. So sometimes it doesn't work out how you thought, but I know if I ever need to join the choir, I could do it. I was on a year of yes where I was like, hey, if somebody asks me to do something, if I can on my calendar, I'm gonna do it. And whether it's going on a podcast or teaching dance to teenagers, or like all of these things that I did that used to just scare me to my core, I just kept
Yeah.
pushing through those ceilings.
Y- Yeah, so I like that. So, I hear this like, okay, when you feel it, just do it anyway. And so that feeling is that emotional tug, whether it is in the sense of fear or
Mhm.
courage or confidence, but it still stems from the mindset of, oh, so even in the mind of thinking, oh, I'm afraid to do this. Okay, I'm going to do it. And then even if you do it, I love the fact that you said, okay, let me try for the choir, and then said, oh, I can't sing. No, I'm not going to,
They were
it's
like,
like
something is
even
off over here.
even in those moments that we aspire to do things and maybe we're afraid to do that thing and then we
Mhm.
try it and then it could be one that we now realize because we've experienced it because we physically, okay, first of all, mentally, you know, your mind, but
Mhm.
physically you moved your body into it. So, now you're doing it because that doing is motion, you're doing it to realize it's okay if it doesn't work. I mean,
Yeah.
because I like the way you say who you are becoming, which is that part of how we flow, you
Mhm.
know, we move into what we're becoming, into. We feel the emotion of, but we also have to know how to not allow that to paralyze us as well. So there is that mental, physical connection going on. Like, all these pieces are connected. There is no separate pieces like, oh, my mind can't tell my
Right.
body what to do. Yes, it will,
Very
and
much
your body
so.
can tell your mind what to do. Right. So, but let's talk about that because, of course, we're talking about Fit to Soar. We're talking about, those steps to a happier, healthier you. Um, so let's talk about that connection in mental and physical health, how the two flow together. We just said that, because you are that fitness and mindset coach. So tell us, if you could give us two steps to that happier, healthier you, in our mental and physical well-being, what would that be?
Well, we've definitely been alluding to it already, is that mindset, mastering our mindset, challenging those limiting beliefs. If when they come in, when they will, challenging them. Where is it coming from? Who, did someone tell us this and we're believing it? Is it true? Serving me now? What is it keeping me from? There's questions. And I created this like little cheat sheet to help, like when that thought comes in, ask yourself these questions. And most times it's irrational. It has no place
Mm,
in our life. So just not accepting everything that comes into our mind, and challenging them and replacing them with a healthy belief.
yeah.
Like we just talked about. Um, if it's I'm not good enough, replacing it with, okay, yes, yes, I am. Sometimes it takes you writing evidence from, okay, I did this one time, and I did that pretty well. Like giving yourself confidence, so you can just break down those limiting beliefs and replacing them with positive affirmations. Those really help, even if it's just writing them down, saying them in the mirror, just reprogramming. Sometimes, depending on your past, you may need more reprogramming than others, but it takes time. But on the other side of that, I mean, there's so much joy and freedom, and flow. Like we're saying, you don't get hung up on your mind, on your thoughts, like me with fear. It can cripple me. And when I found out how powerful what I was saying to myself, whether it made me move or not move, and most times I didn't move before, I'm like, no, you are not stealing any more of my time, my life. No. So I got pretty mad in my mind. So, but it was just stuff from you carry over, and you never know sometimes where it come from. It may come from a song. You just never know, where these things are. But um, and then having positive self-talk, how you talk to yourself in those moments, and it is sometimes minute to minute. Um, I want to go outside and run, but my shoes are dirty, or it's cold outside. It's too cold. Just think, no, I told myself I was going to do it. I'm going to do it like quickly
Ooh.
before they take root, because they will take root and stop you from going.
Okay.
You got to run outside.
No, no, no. I have to pause you for a minute because you just said something, you said, okay, I'm going to go outside. And then you said, oh, my shoes dirty. Oh, it's too cold. See, you was in my lane. I want not about the shoes. I'm not talking about the shoes too dirty because if I'm outside or whatever, okay, the shoes going to get dirty probably. But the part that I have to interject in is, that part of wanting to make sure that I stay, physically healed and, in that walking in that physical well-being. And, knowing that the seasons are changing, that's why I put my hand up because I said, I'm like, it's getting ready to get cold. Then if we go to the, me and my hubby go to the gym, well, we go work out. And so we go and I said, then it's gonna be cold. And he said, well, we just cover ourselves. See, like I was giving an excuse of
Right.
why, which was, not really aligning or flowing with what I'm saying I want for
Right.
myself, because I always talk about
Right.
that whole being,
Mhm.
physically, emotionally, mentally. So when you said that, I'm like, okay, you like in my house right now. When I
Yes.
just said that probably a few days ago. And so I'm like, okay, I need to take that excuse away. But I want to say that I want to ask you this because when you as you were talking and you said, challenging those limited beliefs and even in a part of positive self-talk, but even in both of those, I think in most cases, especially as coaches, often we can ask our clients questions to provoke them to
Hmm.
shift their perspective.
Right.
Can you give us like in that when we're talking about challenging the limited beliefs or positive self-talk or whatever, in that steps to that happier, healthier you, like what is a question that we can ask ourselves, you know, that might just help us or, to make us pause and say, okay, let me go do this. Or in other words, let me put my shoes on and go walking. Well, give me
Yeah.
one question, and one question that you just can think of to say that we could ask ourselves.
Is this going to move me closer or further away from my goals? Is this
Mm,
choice that I'm about to do, get warm instead of going outside, is this choice going to move me closer or further away from my goals? I mean, that's just something that popped in my head, but I mean, it's very true. When we stop to think, usually those are the limited beliefs. It's harder for us sometimes in the moment to think about that, but writing that question down, if you know that you have a tendency to do this or that, thinking ahead of time, if this happens again, this is what I'm going to ask myself. Will I be happier when this is done if I make this choice?
mm,
Like, how would I feel if I don't go to this networking event because I'm, introvert and it's hard for me
Mm.
to. How would I feel? Okay, I will, be disappointed that, and then you just kind of plan accordingly. Most times, if it's something that's hanging you up, you're not going to be like, yeah, I'll feel okay if I go back to bed and not run. If we're honest
Mhm.
with ourselves,
Mhm.
sometimes
Mhm.
we don't get that question out before we do it. But, um, just thinking on the other side of that decision, the
Yeah,
future.
and right, and I like that because at that point, we talk about reprogramming your mind. Um, in that instance, like, okay, oh, I don't want to put my shoes on, and then it's like interject with that question. Okay, is this going to move me closer or further from my goal? So I love that. It's just a
Mhm.
simple yes or no, just straight to
Right.
the point. You don't have to
Hmm.
give me, it's not
Right.
even any other
Five
words you can
reasons
say.
why.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a yes or no. This is a yes or no, straight to the point question. Is this going to move me closer to my goal?
Hmm.
Yes or no? Is it going to move me closer or further?
Hmm.
And then the part, will I be happier with the result of what I want to achieve?
Right.
Straight a question that actually all you have to answer is yes or no.
Yes. No.
If you start answering with, well, if I do, no, it's
Yep.
a yes or no. And at that point, get moving,
Yep.
or now you
Hmm.
realize, wait a minute, that's not important. Okay, that might be what that is.
Hmm.
But I love it. I love it. I love it. I like that because at that point, that's kind of interjecting into that mind, to that limiting belief, to interject and try to say, oh, we're going to take this direction. Nope, you're not
Yeah.
putting me back in the bed. No, you're not going to
Yeah.
not make me put my shoes on and go out here and take this walk that I know that's going to give me mental clarity and also
Right.
physically in my, physical fitness in my body as well. So
Hmm.
yeah, that's good. I
Hmm.
like that, LaRonda. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
So, okay. So give me this, give us, because we always come in this space to, it's PMS, that positive, motivating sisters with purpose, meaning, style, all that PMS, right? So, with that being said, give us, y- your best PMS strategy for us to enhance mental clarity so we can continue to flow positively in our life.
Hmm. What a great question. Oh, well, it's very hard to pick just one. I already think what we've talked about with mindset, mastering your mindset will definitely do it. I know for me, journaling, and I know, you've talked about this before, but um, when you journal, you're able to get those thoughts out of your head. Whether if you have a lot on your plate, sometimes it could just seem a little overwhelming. So writing them down, it could be a gratitude journal where it's just what you're grateful for and it stops there. But it can go so much further with clarifying what you want to do,
Mhm.
your purpose, lessons you've been learning. I know I pretty much have had all my journals from adulthood and up until lately when I went on a journey to go back and look at, some of what um, I was looking for pivotal moments in my life that I may have forgotten. And I did. There were some things in there, like when I was a manager and I wrote down a question. Funny enough, we're talking about these questions. Um, if I didn't care what people thought about me, what would I do differently? And
Mhm.
that for me, because I was a manager and I had, my former peers and, everyone having an opinion, and it was just a lot of drama. And so I went into it wanting to be like the manager that was there before. Like, okay, well, and then
Mhm.
wanting everyone to be happy and pleased and not hate me. And I wrote down during that time, um, I think it was 7, 8 years ago, if I didn't care what people thought about me, what would I do differently? And the very next day, I went with a different mindset and was like, you know what? Mine was please God and see who's happy. I went in there, walking in my own shoes to be, that type of manager. I was still empowering because I still wanted to empower people, which is very difficult when you're a manager, and on that level with your peers. But that changed so much for me, and it was me going back looking in my journals that brought that up. So along with other lessons, now I'm able to look back on what I went through, what I learned, and help teach that to others who may be in those places where some I forgot about, but changed my life. So it's helping me to be able to help, serve better. And then now to this day, I still journal because I usually have, I'm doing a lot of roles, and there's always stuff going on. And of course, I will pray. Sometimes it feels good to just write out everything that I'm concerned about, or I'm thinking about, or I got to make a decision. I'm writing down lists, and I feel so much better after. So
Yeah.
it's very clarifying, very freeing, to do that. And you know, practicing mindfulness. You're in your own thoughts. So
Yeah. I
that's
love it because you
that's one
said,
tip.
I love it because you said it's freeing. I see it as clearing out the chaos.
Hmm.
Because we did have that conversation. I often talk about this when I have guests on the show, that I always have had some type of one-on-one or intimate time with the before the guest comes on, because that's me walking in my shoes. You say,
Hmm.
walk in your own shoes. And that's that style. We talk about style. That's your style. What is your style? Fit where you fit. And it's funny, we're talking about fit to
Right.
soar. That's how you soar, when you fit into your own shoes. Don't get fixed. It's
Hmm.
different.
Right.
Fixed or fit. Fit into your shoes. Think about when you were little, you
Hmm.
had to grow, we grow into our shoes, and our feet grow, and then we grow into the, that's how we're growing, but we're learning ourselves, and you're learning what fits to you, how you
Right.
can soar mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. We can go on and on with
Hmm.
that. Of course, our, highlight is that mental and physical well-being, but the part of journaling, as I'm listening to you, and I'm like, and you're going back, and you're seeing those pivotal moments that help, you flow into your next. So when we're journaling, it's not for just that moment. It could be
Hmm.
3 months from now, 5 years from now,
Right.
because you're keeping all of this. That's a library of your life.
Right.
And so
It's your
now you're
story.
going back and you're looking at it and you're saying, wait a minute. Okay, no. Oh, that's what I did. No, this is what I want to do. And I love the fact that even when you talked about that, with that experience that you had, and you journaled and you started asking yourself that question, ask yourself questions. Ask
Yep.
yourself questions. That's how you get clear. Think about it.
Absolutely.
If you're trying to get somewhere and you don't know where you're going, you're going to ask someone, how do I get to North Carolina? Or which way do I go? Or how do I get to your house? So you have to ask questions, and it's okay to ask yourself questions, because that's how you gain clarity. Um, and so to me, that is a best PMS tip, LaRonda. Thank you very much. And I know, of course, when we ask that question, or when someone say, okay, give us one best, of course, it's like I could say a whole lot. I could give you a
I
library of things,
know.
because of the experiences. And that's why I love these opportunities, that we can talk about our journeys, and that you hear that journey, journal, that
Yep.
journey. It's a process. It's a process. It's a flow. And that's how we move about in our day-to-day lives, whether in our life, in our business. But however that is, we learn those things, and we learn how to make choices, and we learn what changes need to happen. So I'm going to do this before we
Certainly.
wrap up. We're going to close out, but I want to give you a space if it's something you want to share, with our listeners. It's something you want them to know. Maybe it's like, hey, of course, I'm gonna tell you, you can get, you can connect with LaRonda, but is it something that you want to share with our listeners before we close out?
Well, we didn't go really to the second step of those, the
Okay.
physical. We talked about mental, but I do just want to touch on the physical,
Okay.
because it may
Let's
be
do it.
someone who's, kind of wanting to take those steps towards better physical health journey. And I will just say that, I mean, starting where you are, just even 10 minutes a day, find an activity that you enjoy, that you like. It could just be walking outside or, Zumba, just anything to get your body moving. You're releasing feel good hormones, and you're, creating space.
Hmm.
Every time I leave any type of most activities, some are just not for me. Like yoga, I will go to sleep. But I usually feel so much better after, you just have this natural high of, you know, you feel empowered because you were able to strengthen your body. So just setting small goals, whether that is, okay, going outside, walking for 10 minutes, or just anything that will get you moving, and maybe having a friend to go with you. But these pieces go together, like I was saying about feeling, when you feel better, you do better, you think better. And part of that is your physical body, and what you're doing. It does not have to be big, but just start somewhere, and just start, like I said, 10 minutes a day, um, to just get that physical journey started.
Yes, and don't be like when I said it's gonna be cold outside.
Yes.
Create the space to
Hmm.
move, create the space for what's important to you. But even if that's maybe not, someone's like, oh, okay, maybe they're still giving those excuses. And it's like, but wait a
Hmm.
minute, there is a connection between the two. So now, as LaRonda say, just start with 10 minutes a day, with that part of physically moving your body. And there's so many ways we could do that. And I'm sure there's so many other ways she could offer, to say, hey, try this or do that. And that's why you
Hmm.
can connect with her. That's why you can learn
Yeah.
more because, we can't be here forever in this space, but we have the
Right.
opportunity to have this time together and be in this space intentionally for a set time. But again, when this closes, that there is a continuation. I always talk about your next. So, what is your next step? Maybe your next step is, okay, I need to connect with LaRonda. And of course, you can do that, because you were saying, I want to be fit, mind and body. I want to connect the two. So connect with her. You can go to her website, Fit to Soar. And when I say two, it's the number two, Fit to Soar. You can connect with her on Facebook or Instagram, Fit to Soar, LinkedIn, LaRonda Bolden, Fit to Soar. But all of that is in the show description. So you don't have to remember me saying that. You just go into the description, you click on those links, and you just connect with her. Maybe you have a question, maybe you want to know more. But that is how you connect with LaRonda. So, LaRonda, I just thank you so much for having this time and being in the space with
Yeah.
me. And
Absolutely.
I would play that Carol Burnett song. I'm so glad we had this time together. That's what's ringing in my head because I used to love that song. But I'm so glad we had this time together. And until next time, maybe you need to move into your next. Maybe you need to create that space. Maybe you're looking for a mind and fitness coach, wanting to gain that mental clarity. And you know where to go. Go to the show description so we can continue to grow, sisters, so we can continue to learn, because that's what we're here for. So share your comments, subscribe, rate, follow, all that good stuff that we do. Until next time, sisters, let's keep growing because it all starts with you.